Do you ever wake up with fear gripping your heart, worries about the day, the future, or things you can't control, and wish you could let it go and find strength instead? I've been there, and I'm so excited to share how God can turn that fear into unshakable strength through a simple morning devotional and prayer. Imagine this. I'm lying in bed, my mind racing with what-ifs. Work pressures, family struggles, feeling small and powerless. Then I discover a way to start my day with Him, a prayer and a promise that lift the fear off my shoulders and fill me with His courage. This isn't just a nice thought, it's a practical, powerful shift that's changed my mornings and my life. In this video we're walking through it together, my battle with fear, the devotional that broke it, and how you can find strength in God today. Have you ever longed to face your day free from that weight? Stay with me, because by the end, you'll have a morning prayer to let go of fear and stand strong starting now. We're diving into my story, God's Word, and a way to begin your day with Him step by step. So take a moment, breathe deep, and let's start this journey to strength together. Are you ready to let go? Let's begin. Fear used to be my morning alarm, not the clock, but this tight knot in my stomach that woke me up every day. About a year ago, I was in a season of uncertainty. My job was shaky, rumors of layoffs swirling, and my dad's health was declining fast after a heart scare. I'd open my eyes each morning, and before I could even sit up, my mind would flood with dread. What if I lose my income? What if Dad doesn't make it? I'd lie there, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding, feeling like a wave was about to crash over me. I'd drag myself out of bed, make coffee I barely tasted, and shuffle through my routine, checking my phone for bad news, bracing for the worst. By the time I left for work, I was a bundle of nerves, snapping at slow traffic, jumping at every email ping, carrying fear like a backpack I couldn't drop. I wanted strength, needed it, but it felt out of reach, buried under that constant what-if chorus. One morning, I hit my limit. I'd barely slept, woken by a nightmare about Dad, and sat on the edge of my bed, trembling, not just tired, but terrified. My Bible was on the nightstand, unopened for weeks, and in a moment of desperation, I grabbed it. I flipped to Psalm 27:1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? I read it, voice shaky, and something clicked. Not loud, but steady. Whom shall I fear? I'd been fearing everything: layoffs, loss, failure. But here was God, my stronghold. I prayed and simple, Lord, I'm scared of work, of losing Dad. Be my strength today. I can't do this alone. I sat there breathing it in, letting those words settle. It wasn't a total fix, but it was a start. That day I kept the verse close, wrote it on a card, tucked it in my pocket. At work, a meeting loomed, rumors swirling, and I felt the old panic rise. I stepped out, touched that card, and whispered, "You're my stronghold. I don't need to be afraid." I walked back in calmer, not fearless, but held, and the meeting passed. No layoffs announced. Later I called Dad. He was tired but stable, and I thanked God, feeling a flicker of strength I hadn't had. Over the next week, I made it a morning thing. 5 minutes with Psalm 27:1, praying it before the fear could take root. One day a coworker noticed I seemed steadier. Another, I slept through the night. The fears didn't vanish. Work stayed uncertain. Dad stayed fragile. But they didn't own me. I'd start with that prayer, and God's strength met me. Quiet but real. Here's what I learned, and I want you to try it. Fear loses its grip when you start your day with God's strength. That trembling morning showed me I didn't have to carry it. He could. If fear's waking you up, do this. Tomorrow, before anything else, open to read it slow, pray it honest. Lord, I'm afraid of your fear, be my stronghold today. Write it down, keep it near, and lean on it when the what-ifs hit. Have you ever thought about facing fear with him instead of fighting it alone? For me, it was 5 minutes that turned dread into courage. One verse, one prayer. You can start there too, just one morning, and see his strength rise. Starting my mornings with Psalm 27:1 was a lifeline. Praying it helped me face fear with God's strength, loosening its grip on my days. But there was a problem that kept pulling me back. Fear didn't stay gone. Even after that first taste of peace, it'd creep in, sometimes slow, sometimes fast, especially when life threw new punches. A week into my routine, I got a call from Dad's doctor. Test results were unclear. More scans needed, and my stomach dropped. At work, a coworker whispered about budget cuts, and my mind raced back to layoffs. I'd pray each morning, Lord, be my stronghold, and feel steady for a while. But by midday, the what-ifs would claw back, quiet at first, then loud, drowning out that peace. I'd sit at my desk, hands clammy, or lie awake at night, replaying worst-case scenarios. Have you ever found relief only to feel it slip when fear finds a new door? That backslide wore me down. I'd start my day strong, 5 minutes with a verse of prayer. But then, a phone buzz or a tense email would unravel it. One afternoon, I snapped at my mom over a simple question about Dad, and guilt piled on. I'd let fear steal my calm again. I'd tried praying it away midday, but it felt weaker, like I was scrambling to hold ground I'd already lost. I'd come home, flip open my Bible, and stare at Psalm 27:1, frustrated. Why wasn't it sticking? The strength was real. I'd felt it, but fear kept sneaking through the cracks, making me question if I was doing this wrong or if God's peace just wasn't enough for days like these. It left me tired, caught between wanting to trust and wrestling the same old shadows. Then I found a solution that locked it in, a way to let go and stay free. One evening, after a fear-filled day, I opened my Bible again, searching for more, and landed on 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. It hit me, fear wasn't from him. It was an intruder I didn't have to host. I paired it with my morning prayer. Psalm 27:1, for strength. 2 Timothy 1:7, to reject fear. Each day, I'd sit by my bed, 5 minutes notebook ready, and pray. Lord, you're my stronghold. Whom shall I fear? You've given me power, love, a sound mind. Fear's not from you. I'd name it job cuts, Dad scans, and say, I let this go, fill me with your strength instead. Then I'd carry it, whisper it in the car, at my desk, pushing fear out with his truth. It worked, steady and strong. One morning, the doctor called. Dad needed a procedure. Uncertain outcome. I felt the panic rise, but I prayed it right there. Not fear, power, love, sound mind. I drove to the hospital calm, not numb, but held, and sat with Dad, steady for him. At work, a budget meeting loomed. I whispered it, walked in, and faced it clear-headed. No cuts that day. Fear still knocked. Life's like that. But I had a way to shut the door. Have you ever thought about naming fear and replacing it with what God gives? For me, that double-verse prayer turned mornings into a fortress. Fear lost its seat. Here's how you can do it. Fear doesn't have to stay. Start your day pushing it out. Tomorrow, take 5 minutes, Psalm 27:1, 2 Timothy 1:7, and pray. Lord, you're my strength. Fear's not mine. Give me power, love, a sound mind. Name your fear, let it go. Claim his gifts. Try it a week. Carry it with you. That's what freed me, and it'll strengthen you too. Just one prayer, every morning. You've walked with me through fear, waking me like an alarm, job threats, and Dad's health, shaking my mornings, until Psalm 27:1 gave me God's strength to start anew. You've seen how fear crept back, and 2 Timothy 1:7 paired with it to push it out, filling me with power, love, and a sound mind. But there's more, a deeper truth I didn't expect, that's made this morning prayer more than a shield. It's become a surrender that's changed how I see myself in God's hand. It's not just about losing fear. It's about gaining a trust that redefines strength. And it came from a verse that met me in the quiet. I'd been praying those 2 verses for weeks, starting each day with my stronghold, rejecting fear for his gifts. And the difference was real. Work felt manageable, Dad's updates less crushing. One still morning, though, I woke early. No panic, just calm, and sat with my Bible, not rushed for once. I flipped to Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I read it slow, and it sank in, not as a command, but a promise. He wasn't just giving me strength to fight fear. He was with me, holding me up. I prayed it. Lord, you're here. I don't need to fear. Uphold me today. A peace settled, not just relief, but a trust that I wasn't alone in this. That shifted my core. I'd been gripping strength like a tool, something I had to muster. But this was different. It was his presence carrying me. I started adding it to my mornings. Psalm 27:1 for my stronghold. 2 Timothy 1:7 to reject fear. Isaiah 41:10 to rest in him. One day a coworker broke down. Her son was sick, and I prayed it silently. Then listened, calm, offering words she needed. Another morning, Dad's procedure loomed. I whispered, "You're with me, uphold us," and sat in the waiting room steady, not fearless, but trusting. Fear still whispered, layoffs, health, but it didn't rule me. I'd walk outside, feel the breeze, and know his hand was under me. Have you ever thought strength might be less about you and more about him holding you? This wasn't just power, it was intimacy. I'd pray by my bed, the sky still dark, and feel not just ready, but seen, upheld by a God who didn't leave. Psalm 46:1 echoed it. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble, and I lived its strength wasn't mine to build. It was his to give. One evening, I called Dad. He was home, weak but hopeful, and we prayed together, my morning trust spilling into his voice. Fear didn't vanish. Life's still life. But letting go became resting in him, and that's where strength grew. I'd face a tough day, pray it, and carry a quiet courage, not mine, but his. Here's what I want you to see. Letting go of fear isn't just pushing it away, it's falling into God's hands. Try this. Tomorrow, add Isaiah 41:10. After your stronghold, your power. Pray, Lord, you're with me. Uphold me today. Feel his presence, not just the strength. For me, that still morning showed me fear loses when I trust he's holding me. I believe he's there for you too. Just one prayer, one surrender every day. I've shared how fear woke me every day. Job worries and Dad's health stealing my peace, until Psalm 27:1 named God my stronghold, giving me strength to face it. You've seen fear sneak back, and how 2 Timothy 1:7 pushed it out with power, love, and a sound mind, and then Isaiah 41:10 deepened it, showing me his presence upholds me. But now I want to take you to the moment it all came alive, a morning that sealed this prayer and filled me with a strength I can't hold back, because it's for you too, right now. It was a bright winter day, months into this devotional. I'd been praying those verses, my stronghold, his gifts, his hand, starting each morning with him. Fear still lingered, Dad's recovery slow, work unsteady, but I wasn't crumbling. That morning I woke to sunlight streaming through my window, a rare quiet before the storm. I sat up, Bible open, and prayed it all. Lord, you're my stronghold, whom shall I fear? You've given me power, love, a sound mind, not fear. You're with me, uphold me today. As I spoke, a stillness washed over me, not just calm, but a strength so deep it brought tears. I stepped outside, the air sharp, and stood there, feeling it, God with me, holding me, stronger than any fear. I went to visit Dad that day. He smiled, frail but fighting, and I knew this wasn't my strength, it was his, carrying us both. That winter morning was my climax, the day I let go of fear and found God's strength fully mine. I kept praying it 5 minutes each day, sometimes more, letting it shape me. A work deadline hit. I prayed, faced it steady, delivered on time. Dad had a setback. I sat with him, strong for us both, trusting God's hand. Fear didn't vanish, life still uncertain, but it lost its throne. I'd start my day with that prayer, and his presence carried me, not just through fear, but into courage I could share. One day, a friend called, scared about her own struggles. I shared this prayer, and she cried, I add that. This isn't just my victory. It's a daily gift, and I believe it's yours too. Have you ever longed to face your fears with a strength that's bigger than you? Here's my heart for you. You can let go of fear and find God's strength today. That bright morning showed me this prayer isn't a fix. It's a foundation built on his word. So here's your step. Tomorrow, wake up, open your Bible or phone, and pray this. Lord, you're my stronghold. Psalm 27:1. I won't fear. You've given me power, love, a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Take this fear. You're with me. Isaiah 41:10. Uphold me today. Name your fear, job, health, anything. Let it go and rest in him. 5 minutes, wherever you are. Do it daily this week by your bed, with coffee in the quiet. For me it was sunlight and a prayer that turned dread into trust. What will it be for you? I believe he's waiting, strength to let go, power to stand, right now. Let's keep this alive. Hit that like button if this moved you, because it's all I've got to give. Leave a comment. What fear will you give him tomorrow morning? I'll read every one. Your story matters to me. Share this with someone afraid. It might be their breakthrough. If you're not subscribed, join us. We're growing in faith together, and I'd love you here for more. God's strength is yours, friends. Start your day with him and watch fear fade. See you soon.